Hey everyone. Just realized my lights aren't even on. Whoa. Right. There we go. Alright. Ugh. I forgot something. I'll grab it. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I am back. Oh. Trying to get everything rearranged. Set up just right. I'll move me more over this way. Yeah, because now I'm going to be looking up over here, so. That feels good right there. All right. Gotta put some on the store. So you guys ain't just staring at blank walls back there. How's everybody doing this morning or this evening? This morning, holy crap! I need a nap. Thank you for the follow, Zen. Welcome in, welcome in. Getting some few things set up right now before I get started. Your morning right now is doing good. That's good. That's good. I don't know why I said morning. Probably feels that way to me right now. Even though I didn't just wake up. I've been up since... What time did I get up this morning? I don't even remember. But it was morning when I got up, not evening like it is now. Alright, let's see. So I can go ahead. Transition over here. Where down a monitor, so I gotta figure out where I want chat to be at. Leave it right here. That looks good. Thank you. Yeah, it's supposed to be a lo-fi beats playlist. But it doesn't sound too lo-fi to me. It's off of a copyright-free website that for streamers and whatnot, so I can play music while I work on my writing stuff. Is it too loud? How's the volume on that? Drop it down to about negative 9 decibels. That should keep me a little bit louder than the music and still have some background noise going. Hello, Rainbow. How's it going, bud? I guess you go by Space most of the time. I am doing good. I've been putting off my writing stream for 2 weeks now, and I figured today would be just the day I just forced myself to do it. Funny enough that you jump into this particular stream, because this is the story I was telling you guys about when you guys were sharing your story with me. What was it, a few days ago? And that's what I'm going to be working on today. I'm going to do a little light editing, and then I'll start working on chapter 9. I won't be reading it out loud, by the way, just in case anybody was wondering. I don't like listening to the sound of my voice, so we will not get narration from me. How would you be told? Actually, mostly doing light editing on this one because I'm trying to refresh my mind on where I last left off here, what I had been telling. So for some reason, I think it's because of the word. It's actually just wanted to change that to hello, instead of me using hell. So it's not an actual correction. This one is coming up. You may have forgotten a preposition. Let's see, so she liked it like that, being alone, no one to bother her. Yeah, I can see why they would do with no one to bother her. That is far more proper. But this particular novel's written for younger adults, people between the ages of 17 and 24. So I think we'll stick with just the no one to bother her. Yeah, And I have, let me pull up my spreadsheet. I'm gonna have to move that button. I always freaking click it every time I want to open up a folder. Yeah, definitely writer's voice takes precedent. And I get that a lot. Like, a lot of people, well, that's not the proper way to write it. I'm like, I understand the proper way to write it. I mean, I went to school and was working on a degree to become an English teacher. I know the proper way to write it, and I also know the artistic way to write it too. And sometimes artistic precedence takes over, and that's sometimes you just gotta go with your gut feeling on some of those writing choices. And I will be the first to tell you, sometimes that gut feeling is the right way to go. Yeah, definitely. This is supposed to be entertainment, not, I'm not trying to write a newsletter to a bunch of colleagues at work so that they can know what the following week's going to be fulfilled with. I'm pulling up a database right now of my entire collection of works. So this is yeah. I know it's been canceled. I haven't got to paying for it yet. Yes, this is a trusted document. So as I scroll down here, we're up to 196. Can't really count these last, what is that? 7, mostly due to the fact that those are all mini-series chapters. So 198, so that's 188 books that I have plotted out. Yeah, and it does. You want it to sound how it would sound in your head. I know a lot of authors that do that too. They write with a particular voice in mind when they're writing, and that's why a lot of authors choose to go first person rather than third person, is because you can write in that character's voice with or first person over writing in third person. And welcome in, Yes Books. Yes Books, or is it Ease Book? How would you pronounce that? Because I want to pronounce that as like there being the E in between Y and S, and so it would be Yes Books. But welcome in. YS. Oh, okay. So like initials, basically. Well, welcome in anyway. Thank you for coming in and hanging out. Are you you an author as well? That's awesome. What kind of stuff do you write, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, okay, yeah, duh, you write audio dramas. My brain sometimes. Let's see. First person. Yeah, the third person does help give a more omniscient aspect to storytelling versus like a first person's only that character knows. Urban, paranormal, and folklore mostly. All right, so you're pretty close to my wheelhouse. I want to say like 70% of the stuff I write is paranormal and folklore. My main series is called Urban Legends Online. It's a lit RPG style based off of urban legends. What is my opinion on interrobangs? I'm not entirely sure what that is. Base. Yeah, I can Google it. Google Magic. Oops, wrong button. Oh, the exclamation point question mark, or I think either's fine. It depends on whether or not your question is more important than the exclamation, or the exclamation is more important than the question. It's tone, I guess you could say. That would be my take on how you would use those two. I use them both, so that's my take on that. I publish. I'm self-published under my own publishing company, so I own my own publishing company. And right now, I am partnered with Amazon, Kindle Direct Publishing, to get my stuff out there. I'm looking into other places. I tried doing it all like a traditional publisher would. Unfortunately, I'm one person. I work a full-time job amongst other things that I do. And I find it hard to do it by myself. So I do rely heavily on Amazon to get my stuff out there. Yeah, so Space, technically they are improper. But again, it's writer's style. If that is your style and you use it as a style choice, I don't see any problem with it. I mean, again, if you guys are partnering up to do a book, then you guys have to agree on the style of the book, and I mean that's a give and take relationship when you're co-writing a book. If I had a co-writer, we would agree on certain things and we'd disagree on certain things. It's part of being a partnership. And so, yeah, that's just something you got to work out with your partner. If they don't like them, they don't like them. But yeah, no, she is correct. It is an improper usage of the punctuation. But again, it's also personal preference on usage. I use them. So, but I also don't write like other proper authors do. And Vela too, yeah, I have 3 Velas on Kindle Vela. Well, I have 2 on there right now. I'm about to put up a 3rd one that I just wrote the first chapter for a couple weeks ago. I want to get 2 more chapters written before I start posting them episodes at a time. I have 2 novelettes on Amazon, as well as a full-length novel on Amazon, and then of course the 2 Velas right now. But that's amazing. Let's see, I don't know if I have links allowed, but if you want to Discord, if you want to go in there and drop your links into the Discord, I'll go check out your stuff, and I would love to read what you have. Hey, 1-2, welcome in. I don't know if we were talking about you yet, but I mean, you're always welcome here, bud. Welcome in, bud. Like I said, you're always welcome to hang out here with me. I'm just sitting here doing some light editing, refreshing my brain on where I was at with the story, and then I'll probably write chapter 9 tonight. Ooh, I don't think I've ever had flan. I might have, and I just don't remember it because it wasn't all that good, or wherever I got it from. Because you have to get it from the right place, from what I understand. Because like there's places that make flan, and then there's places that make flan. Yes, I'm still working on getting affiliate. I think all that I have left to do right now is have average viewers at 3. Last I checked, I was at 1.77 average viewers, but I also have like close to 40 hours of stream time, so that makes it a little bit more difficult to get the right average viewer count. Yeah, because there is one of those days that I have 11 hours of stream time, and I think I only had myself as the only viewer in there. Yep. How's I still have you up sort of in the background, bud. How's it going? You're lurking, never mind. I'll let you get back to yours. Let's see, so no, this first scene with the prologue was a little dark. Especially for a youth novel. All right, well, let's see. So to key off the prologue, so Terrace, she's a troubled youth with parents who don't care, that kind of typical story. And she has tendencies of the harmful kind. Let me pull up my Discord. Let's see. You can go ahead and drop them into the arts channel under the community category. If you have that, you should have access to that. Double check. Yeah, you should have access to it. So basically she self-harms, And that's basically what this scene's going over is her talking about the pain and all that, and how she does this to relieve that pain, and then it shifts to her realizing that she's not normal. She's got powers. Um, you guys want? It's a lot. 17,599 words. I will not be able to narrate all of this and still write a chapter. So, if you guys want, I will read. I will read the prologue aloud, and then I will speed read the rest of this so I can at least try to get a chapter done. I only have a couple hours until I have to go to bed, so. But it's up to you. I don't like the sound of my voice, but I've been told that other people are not bothered by the sound of my voice. Harris pack weighed as heavy on her shoulders as her thoughts on her mind. Things had been getting more and more twisted by the day. School, family, life in general. Finally, she had enough and escaped. It had taken a toll on her, however. She was again craving the relentless, pain-filled love of the blade. Her arms had nearly healed, aside from a few reddened marks. They wouldn't look like that when she was done, however. She makes her way to the deserted kitchen. No one else was home right now. Hell, no one had been home here in years. The abandoned home had become her sanctuary in the most trying times. A place she could always come back to and just disappear within. She liked it like that, being alone, no one to bother her, no one to stir things up, and no one to hurt her. Dropping her pack on the floor near her feet, she pressed her back to the wall, a protective gesture despite the lonely, empty echo within the house. Rummaging in a bag until she found her well-guarded treasure, a package wrapped in paper with dark and rust-colored stains vying to show their torment through its thick skin. It was this package that she laid on the table and reverently reveled its contents. The dully glinting blades wink back at her from their crinkling bed. Thin, pale fingers separate one from its brothers and pull it from the packaging. It was far from bright and shiny, covered in a thin and crusty reddened to almost black film. At one time it had been sweet, sticky, a bright red then. This was her favorite one. Many a time it was this particular blade she used. Almost like an unforgiving yet comfortable teddy bear. Comforting teddy bear. She lays the chosen blade on the white cloth she pulled from the recesses of her pack. One did have to be clinical about this after all. Then again, maybe she wanted an infection to set in. It wouldn't have been the first time. Too bad she hadn't managed to die from it last time. Someone had interceded on her way to obvious death. It would have been such a release, and she would have welcomed it with open, albeit scarred arms. Why are you... Pause right there for a second. A verb works. No, I like that one better. She only wore shirts with long sleeves now. Of course, she had to hide the mass of healing and sometimes infected wounds crisscrossing their way up her forearms. There was no need to call attention to the pain junkie tracks marring her pale, freckled skin. Of course, if she wasn't wanting the attention, then why rend her own flesh, you may ask. The answer was simple: to make sure she could still feel through her numbness. Which one wasn't caught by the spell checker? Oblivious. Oblivious. I probably pronounced it wrong, but I think that was meant to be to Oblivious Death. Obvi. Did I want to go Oblivious? Hang on, okay. I gotta go back. Oh. Let's see. Is it Obvious Death that I was going for? Interceded on her way to Oblivious Death? No, I think it was Oblivious Death is what I was aiming for. I am second guessing myself. Oh. No, you're good. Too bad she hadn't managed to die from it last time. Someone had interceded on her way to Oblivious Death. Yeah, no, it's Oblivious. Hey, Mustang, how's it going? You're just in time to hear me butcher my own writing. It's my terrible voice. Let's see. So we were at. She knew that was no way to live from her own experience. Carefully rewrapping the remainder of the blades, making sure none poked their dangerously sharp blades through the thick paper. It wouldn't do to prick herself before really getting started, now would it? With the package tucked neatly back within the sheltered and hidden recesses of her bag before she slides one shirt sleeve up her tortured and scarred arm to the elbow and rests it on the bare tabletop. Bringing her eyes back to the stark white cloth and darkly stained instrument of pain before her, she reaches out as though entranced and picks up the blade in a well-practiced move. Obviously, she has done... There's a typo. Done this a few times before. So that's why I go over these a few times, just try to catch these. Enter here. For those of you that don't know, Mustang is a huge reason why I'm pushing so hard to go affiliate. So I'm gonna give Mustang a shout out. If you don't follow her, check her out. She's amazing. She's sweet. Yeah, mostly because you came in here and told me I need to make affiliate. Alright, let's see where we at. She pushes the cloth away from her arm a bit. There was no sense in soaking it with blood before it got wrapped around her soon-to-be bleeding arm. Returning her attention to the pale and irrevocably, I can't even pronounce that word, irrevocably marked flesh field. See, this is why I don't narrate, because I can't say certain words. Field of her forearm. Marked flesh field of her forearm. Yeah, that's the right usage, okay. It was her favorite place to do this, but she would have to find another soon. Too much scar tissue was causing her to become desensitized, and she needed to be able to feel every little tremble of the cold, unfeeling blade as it embedded it into her soft, forgiving flesh. She lifts the blade as though drugged on the high of knowing she'll be feeling something very soon, even if it is tear-jerking pain as the piece of metal makes its relentless way over and through her skin. Pressing Pressing the darkened blade to her arm lightly, she takes a deep breath. Here it comes. The feeling was going to wash over her the moment she put just a little more pressure on the thin, unbending, and uncaring strip of steel. She jerks her arm just a tiny bit as one corner bites into the tender meat. She closes her eyes, pulling her bottom lip up between her teeth. Her faint frown deepens as she presses harder, just enough to bury the corner of the blade, but not yet enough to draw blood. Dragging the wicked instrument infinitesimally along the undetermined path, she gives a low cry, whether from pain or perhaps pleasure, even she didn't know. No, you're not bossy. You just think that we should all take part in your joyous glory. Because you're accomplishing things that we all wish we could, and some of us just are too lazy to follow through with those goals. Like, let's talk about brown bag, for instance. Oh no, yeah, no, definitely. I'm not just saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying. You. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I have no doubts about that. I will definitely attempt to maintain what you helped me start. I feel call out. Why do you feel call out too? I'm concerned now. Yeah. It did go down from yesterday's stream. It went down like 0.1, so these writing streams are a little bit more popular, luckily. So thank you, Zen. I really do appreciate you for coming in and lurking in my stream and help me push to get closer to affiliate. Because that's really what's left to get, is that average viewer. King of the Castles on Steam. What is that? What up, Kevin? How was your stream? You still streaming, bud? Yeah, I got you. I will have to go in and change you to
like what I said.
Mod.
Thanks, Beach. I'm trying to figure out how to enable my soundboard.
Ooh, excuse me.
Oh yeah, so I feel that way all the time.
I'll be streaming tomorrow.
Too.
Nathaniel, go to bed.
I have, like I was saying earlier, I have close to 190 something books I need to write, and I'll go weeks, maybe close to a month of not writing anything whatsoever. So these writing streams are to help me focus on my writing. I may have to do them more than once a week, so we'll see. Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll get your. if I have to, I'll give you guys a hand getting that set up, Kevin. If you guys need the help or want the help, I'll definitely make the time to help you guys out. Oh, no. Let's see. So we were on this paragraph in writing. So have you finished anything yet, too? Highlighting this to remind me this is where we left off, so that's where I'll pick up when I start reading again. 6 years, 7 months, 21 days, 17 hours, 27 minutes. Give it. Okay. I started writing at the age of 13. I'm 36 now, so you can do the math. I've published my first book junior year. Where the librarian had taken our school bookbinder printer and she printed out my book and did all the binding stuff. Printed out one copy of it where it sat on the school library for I don't even know how long till she retired. I know that because when I went back to get it, it was gone. Oh, thank you for the jump scare, Mustang. I appreciate it. And that was my first ever book I published. That it was, so it's, I forget the name of the title, but I'm rewriting it as a trilogy called The Gathering Dark Alliance. So I will be bringing it back. I was kind of hoping to get my hands on it. And that way I could, kind of take what I put in that book and just make it longer, basically. Let's see. Wow. Yeah, that really scared you. Oh yeah, because I just get scared so easy. All right, enjoy your look, Mustang. Thank you for coming by. But yeah, no. I didn't actually, so that being my first book published, I'd continued coming up with ideas, generating new and creative stories over the countless years. And I actually didn't publish my next book until 2020. Do I still have my spreadsheet up? I do. So Rooks and Kings got published July 15th of 2020. So yeah, I didn't actually publish my next book until 2020, so 3 years ago. So there's that huge gap between my junior year and 3 years ago. So yeah, it's really all dependent on you. Nobody's gonna write it but you. I can share. Do I have it on this computer? I think it's on my work computer, but I have this poem. I think I shared it with Nonya in Space. I think you might have been there too, but that poem I constantly have as a reminder to keep writing because it could potentially be somebody's favorite book. Matter of fact, I had popped into somebody's stream the other day, and one conversation led to another, and my writing got brought up. And the wife of the streamer bought one of my books and read the entire thing from cover to cover that night, and she loved it. She said it was an amazing book, and so that is why I do what I do. It's like my writing style and my books and stories may not be for everybody, but there's somebody out there who will enjoy it. And that's why I do it. Yeah, so take that as inspiration. You know, sometimes you just gotta sit down, make yourself motivated, and be that motivation. Or I'll be that motivation. If you need me to sit with you in a call or something, and you know we jam out to some music together while you write, I can do that. I'm fine with that. All right, or we get back into this refresher course of my book. Hey, I'm always here for you guys, anytime, any day, any night. Especially if you guys are ready to publish, I'm definitely here to help. That's actually what my publishing company is for, is to help authors self-publish. As being the only person that works for my publishing company, I can't do it on my own. So usually what I do is I offer services like advice on how to self-publish, what to look for, how to put it up there, how to get covers made, how to get editors to edit your stuff, who to go through, where to find them, stuff like that. I just offer just advice. And that's the best I could do until I can make this publishing company an actual, where like I go through and, you know, we take on your stuff, we do all the legwork and, you know, that kind of thing. Which may be like a 10, 20 year project from now. Like I may be able to do it one day, but right now I just can't. I just don't have the time for it. Let's see. She didn't know why she carved this or craved this. Maybe it was like a drug, something to become addicted to, like an addict to heroin, always needing just a little more for the next fix. To make it just a littlest bit more intense than the last. A small pool of red wells up as she presses just a little harder. Her body jerks slightly in response to the stimulus, letting up enough pressure to allow the blood to bubble up to the surface of her arm and trickle down to the side to the tabletop, puddling in a crimson splash at odds with the paleness of her skin. All right, Space, thanks for coming in and hanging out. Enjoy your alert. Appreciate you for stopping by. Ever so slowly, with her breath hissing from between clenched teeth, she pulls the blade across the expanse of her arm, moving at a snail's pace to prolong the feeling washing over her abused body and mind. Millimeter by agonizing millimeter, the thin but ever-widening red line follows the point of the razor as she drags it unerringly, in the process crossing a few healing gashes. Unerringly, in the process crossing a few healing gashes, they reopen, and add to the blood that spills from her latest attempt. She never really tried to kill herself, but moreover to fill herself. For locked in her own mind was the true reason she did this over and over again, but she had no way to retrieve it. It was simply too deep and could only be acted on. Darkened crust of dried blood on the blade mingles on the cold metal with the warm wetness of fresh blood, creating an almost sickeningly gummy look. She was playing with fire in her own way, and it felt good to be burned. See, the darkened crust of dry blood on the blade mingles on the cold metal. See, what's this say? Removes this word, could make the sentence clearer. Mingles the cold. No, wouldn't make it clear. Let's see. Flexing her fists a few times causes more pain as the abused muscles in her arm are forced to work, and the shining crimson puddle growing beneath her arm gets larger. Her hand is shaky as she finally stops and just holds the blade where it is, embedded in tendered flesh. Her tremors simply fuel the fire, and her face is screwed up in pain now. It had been a good session. Maybe she would last a little while on it and not have to do it again so soon again. Withdrawing the blade allows for another good spurt of blood as she finally opens her eyes. She might have nicked a major artery this time. Whoops. Oh well, she wasn't done yet anyhow. She repositions the blade at a right angle to the gash she'd just finished carving from the soft, tender flesh of her arm. She gives a thick half smile. X marks the spot. Only a quiet whimper escapes her this time as she roughly sinks the point of the blade into the previously white skin. She almost seems to yank the blade as a quick motion, creating an almost jagged cut that quickly fills the red, tangy, metallic, scented fluid that sustains life. Her eyes close and her body shudders in what might look like an ecstatic response to the wave of pain resulting from the violent movement. Working carefully, she extracts the blade, now almost half buried in her arm. Those rough cuts had a tendency to go a little deeper. She has to pull the blade backward to get it out, having sunk it in too deep. The backtracking causes another little shudder of pain. Gods, it feels good. It felt good, so good. Almost as if she could actually have life coursing within. She often lost track of how it felt. Blinking rather dazedly and unaware of death's unwavering gaze on her, she lays the blade away from the gummy cloth fringes of the pool of blood. Clotting fringes of the pool of blood collected on the tabletop, and reaches for the cloth she'd laid aside earlier. Giving it a quick shake with her less injured arm, she reveals it to be a length of bandage. She was nobody's fool, well, most of the time. Working one-handedly, she awkwardly wraps the fraying but clean cloth over and around the profusely bleeding wound, pulling it tight and securing the knot with her teeth. This was something else she had a lot of practice in. That done, she carefully lifts the wetly glinting blade from the table and returns it to the stack within the paper packaging, fished from her pack. She watches quite bemusedly as the metal's sticky coating adds another staining layer to both the blades and the encompassing paper. Finally coming back to herself, she glances around the house silently, her eyes moving over the form in the doorway. That isn't my mother standing there with a horrified look on her face, is it? Her gaze drops to the slowly coagulating puddle on the table and swallows. Oh, she'd done a good one this time. Not that the others hadn't been impressive, but they were usually done in private. She'd been too out of it earlier, caught in the thrall and in need of the rush, it could be called, to notice her mother's approach. Though she could swear someone else had been watching her. Someone she didn't know, though, maybe was trying to meet in her own twisted way. Her eyes slid about the room, widening slightly at the other form, a not quite there form, and yet she knew who it was. Death had been watching her, waiting for her, the one drop of blood, too many to ooze from her body. Well, he didn't get her this time. Her eyes returned to her mother. She was likely in for it now. Mom knew she came here to be alone, but she likely hadn't expected to find her daughter literally mutilating herself. Terraris quickly wraps the blades tightly within their packaging and shoves them deep into her pack before rising from the chair and shaking her sleeve down at the same time. She tugs at both sleeves in a deep, worn habit to cover the nearly consistent bandages she wore, bandages she had until now managed to hide well enough. With them both still locked in silent stare down, her mother covers the distance and grasps one of Terraris's arms, tugging the sleeves upwards. Not again, Terraris. The voice is more irritated than sympathetic. Her mom never understood. She couldn't understand what it felt like to be dead inside. That's why she cut herself to feel. Her shoulders lift in a seemingly careless shrug. So what? She grabs her pack, wincing at the arrows of pain from the movement, and heads for the door. She felt too exposed here, regardless of the surely no less than fantastic display she already put on. A sick little sideshow of how humanity sometimes deals with what life throws at them. Ooh, that was a good one. I like that lightning. That was pretty cool. Good try though. Maybe next time. Let's see. Pile pain upon pain, and maybe you can build a ladder to peace. Too bad the rungs kept slipping from her grasp. Might have been all that blood. She quickly slips past her mother, but not quickly enough to miss the hand that clutches at her arm and the voice hissing in her ear. You're not just walking away from this one, you know. Well, to be fair, ever since someone raided me and I ignored it for about 40 minutes, I've been trying to make it a point to periodically look at my chat box, therefore that I don't miss being raided again. Yeah. That's an embarrassing moment. I'll never live that down. I'll never let myself live that down either. To be fair, I think that's the point of raids, is to be raided without being told, you know. Spider. I think I've seen this one. I think, yeah, that one's good. I like that one. Let's see. That was the last conversation she had with her mother before being dragged out of psychiatric ward at the hospital. A SWAT raid in Twitch. That is a good question. 1, 2, do you stream? I think I follow you. Pretty sure I follow you. Nope, I do now though. did 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 Unicorn actually get scared? I'm assuming you two are in a call with each other. Oh, okay. I see. I see now. I had to scroll. I had to read up a little bit more. That scared me, and I'm the one who fucking played it. I told you it was a good one. I warned you that it was a good jump scare. God, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall when that spider came at the screen. That would have been freaking hilarious. I think we're getting towards the end of this prologue. And I got a few more pages. I think at this rate, to keep refreshing myself, I'll just keep reading. That way y'all could just hear it. And then eventually, I'll just keep working on this one the next couple weeks. I might do this writing stream a couple times a week, and then, you know, eventually I'll get caught up, and then I'll start writing it. Where was I? Whoops. You're not getting away. Where's that line? Her shoulders, let's see. Okay. There we go. All right. Let's see. So let's see. Yeah, no problem, Unicorn. You're perfectly fine in your lurk, or however you want to do that. I do not mind whatsoever. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate all of you being here. It really does make me feel better about doing these streams. Let's see. That was the last conversation she had with her mother before being dragged out of here. It does sound better, right? Being dragged out of here instead of off here. To the psychiatric ward of at the hospital. Maybe I should do of the hospital instead. Where people screamed obscenities, among other things, at all hours of the night. She had seen too many strapped to their beds and pumped full of drugs, reducing them to drooling slabs of humanity. She wanted out of here, but the therapist that she'd been assigned to wanted to pick her brain to bits before she'd let her out. She wasn't even allowed real utensils. Instead of being forced to use plastic ones, she was given sleeping pills to make sure she didn't sneak out about at night, looking for something to cut herself. Pills she didn't even swallow, but hid under her tongue and spat out as soon as she could. Even in just the short time she'd been in here. Why are you underlined? She'd seen the hauntingly dark form moving about, Death. She knew it was him, among all the other crazy phenomena that occurred around here. She glanced about the gathering room, turning her nose up at the cartoons going across the TV screen. Gods, couldn't they watch something worthwhile? This bit, the big one. She was bored out of her mind. She wasn't even allowed books right now. At least she could cause herself paper cuts. It was ridiculous. It was late into the evening when the dark stranger who wandered the halls slipped into her room. The wavering form of this stranger was a familiar friend at this point, something that anchored her to her sanity. Though tonight's meeting was slightly different from the rest, The form of the stranger in her room wavered and her body convulsed in her bed as fire filled her nerves. Sweat beaded across her skin as the hairs on her body stood on end. Hello, Tippy. How's it going? Welcome to my stream, and thank you for following. The electric sensation in her body felt like she was dying. Was death finally coming to claim me after all this time? The bastard waited till now? She felt the scars on her arms itch as she tore away the bandages that the hospital left on to help with the healing. She noticed the skin peel away and knit back together. She could see the white muscles beneath her pale flesh. The process was almost instantaneous, and she let out a small whimper. Pain or pleasure? That wasn't the first time she felt that euphoric moment, and she looked back to the spot, that wavering form of death. She noticed a man was standing in his place with a finger to his lips. Please don't scream. His voice was thick and rich, and carried with it promises of violence and danger. Tippy says, hello, I'm going to lurk. Okay, enjoy your lurk. I hope you have a good evening and you enjoy all the lurkiness. His piercing red eyes pinned her to her bed, and the scream that was at the edge of her vocal cords was suppressed. Was that magic? It must have been something, because all her hard work had been erased from her arms. She wasn't sure how she wanted to feel about that, and as her brain processed what happened while her eyes roamed across her arms, the voice of the man returned. I feel like that sentence is really long. She wasn't sure how she wanted to feel about that. Comma. As her brain processed what happened, comma. No. Comma here. No, it's not so long. You have been awakened. Her eyes snapped to his. Into his? Why would you suggest into his? Her eyes snapped into his? Doesn't sound right. What that means is your latent gifts have finally surfaced. The way he said gifts just made that sound like it was a capital G. I am from a small town deep in the mountains of Colorado called Whispering Falls. My job is to travel the world in search of the lost children of magic, people who have these gifts, then invite them to come live with us in our town, where they will then learn and harness their gifts. Terrace's voice was just above a whisper. How do you know? I'm sorry? How do you know I would have these gifts? That is part of my power. I am a master of space and time, or spatio-chronokinesis, but my true power is potentikinesis, goddamn Latin. The ability to manipulate gifts. It's how I am able to track down others like yourself, just young people who are about to birth new gifts. I don't know anything you just said right now, but if you're willing to take me out of here, then I will go with you. A sly smile crosses his lips. Just like that? I'm bored out of my mind here. Please, can we just hurry this next part up already? Your wits came back quicker than I thought. The smile deepened. Hold on. Within 2 very large steps, his hands was enveloping hers. Her heart started racing, and she let out a small whimper when her body filled with electricity again. In the small room she was beginning to call home vanished, and what replaced it was a sandstone landing with snow-capped trees. Again, that sentence is feeling a little long. Probably because there's multiple ands in there. Let's see. Drop this one. Here. Being messaged, it sounds like. Let's see if it's anything important. Don't yell at me, unicorn. Don't you do it. I forgot. I'm in trouble. So you guys know, if I don't make it back, it's because unicorn buried my body. Come find me. Let's see, where was I at? Oh yeah, fixing this very long sentence. And what replaced it was a sandstone landing with snow-capped trees. The chill instantly covered terraces. Make sure to hide. Oh yeah, you could hear it in my voice, can't you? Oh, thank you for that. I don't have those redeemed yet, so it's appreciated. Yes, Pondo, we know you're hungry. Stop telling everybody. Let's see. Skin and bit deep, but was gone just as quickly as it came. A boy who looked to be her age stepped from the edge, his hands glowing red, and the warmth felt like it came from him. Lucas, good, you're here already. Help our young friend here get some new clothes and room in the women's dorm. And a room. There's supposed to be an A here. Yes, Adam, the boy said quickly before reaching out his hand out to Terrace. My name is Lucas Dusk. Terrace. What a lovely name. He smiled warmly. Everything about this boy was warm. If you're wondering, my gift is pyrokinesis. I can control flames, which comes in handy for a place like this, he said with a flourish of his hands. That is handy, Terrace said, quietly. Lucas smiled, dimmed. Everything is going to be good, I promise. Many people here are from around the world with dark pasts and twisted lives. Many others are from royal families and rich lineages. We have people of all kinds. You'll fit right in. His smile returned, and without skipping a beat, he about-faced and started heading in the direction of the town. Let's get you settled in, Tara. It's Terrace. Right, well, that's the prologue. Before we get started, any thoughts? Anybody? Please, I need feedback. I don't ever get feedback. I've published 3 books, and I think I've had 1 person comment on it. Life of an author, I swear. What is that wiggly? Snow puff tail? That's crazy looking. Snow puff snack, snow puff tail. Oh, that's cute. I'm trying to clear out some messages. Bear with me 1 second. All right, I'm back. So I'm we'll keep going on while you guys build your thoughts on that prologue. I know it's a little bit dark and a lot of people aren't gonna like it, but it's it's a tone setter for that character because she plays a major part in the main characters' lives. Yeah, the title comes from the school. So the high school is called Darkside. And it was originally named. This is backdoor. It's originally named after one of the founders of the village. Matter of fact, I think. I believe the high school is, like, the name of the high school is mentioned here. I'm in this first chapter. If you guys cannot get your eyes to follow and track words as fast as mine do, bear with me. Yeah, so it is mentioned here at the first in the first chapter. So as we start going through this next part, you'll get to see it. But yeah, it's basically just because the founders, that's what they named it as. That's basically why it's called Darkside High, is the high school's name. Because all these characters are high school students. A lot of the main characters are all juniors or seniors. And it is technically I want to say it's a prequel, but it's the book's not written in a series format. So like there is no book 2 or book 3, book 4, nothing like that. But it does open up to a wider universe that I have called the Twisted City files. There's 3 books and they're all within the same universe. It's not a continual story. So all 4 books, while all in the same universe, do not continue one story after another. They're just all written in the same universe. This one happens to be the one that opens the universe up to the rest of the other 3. But yes, we'll get cruising along here. I think I can read this next chapter, and then we'll probably wrap up for the evening so I can get ready for bed. And then Thursday, I don't have a stream scheduled, but Thursday we'll be back, and then I'll work on chapter 2 and 3. Justin, the teeny voice in the back of my mind shouts so loud this fateful day. Justin, get up. Why can't the voices just go away? Justin, if you don't get out of this bed right this second, I will throw your ass right out of the bedroom window. Is that Samantha yelling at me? I crack an eye open to see that it is indeed my older sister yelling at me. Her leg cocked out, her hand balled into a fist resting on her blue jean-covered hip. I blink the one eye at her. I swear to the gods above that you are the worst. You are worse than Lisa is, and she is the literal embodiment of sloth, Sam says, exasperated. I crack a huge grin. I like to overindulge in sleep. What do you expect? She stamps a foot into the ground and the whole room starts to shake. I give her a quick wink, or was it a blink, and phase through the bed and floor into the kitchen down below. All the while I hear her cursing up a storm upstairs. You really shouldn't torment your sister, Justin, Adam says to the right, just as my feet softly set down on the hardwood floor. You may be right, but sometimes a guy has to get his beauty sleep. That's my line, he says with a grin. Now hurry off to school. You're a senior now. Not much longer, and you'll be free to do as you please. Oh, trust me, dear brother, I say, snatching up his toast and stuffing it quickly into my face, running off towards the direction of the door as I work to chew. I made that sentence sound way longer than it actually is, or a couple sentences. I already do. Crumbs fall from my lips while I speak with a mouthful of food. As I get down to the foot of the driveway, I see Damien coming up the road in his dad's restored 1973 Stingray Corvette with a cherry red paint job. This thing was sweet. I was told I had one in a previous life. That explains why I liked him so much. My man. Hey, Sinister. What is up? Oh, you know, another glorious day at Darkside High. Words never spoken truer, or something like that. Truer words have ever been spoken? With a little mock Macbeth stance. Okay, Mr. AP. I hop in the car and he revs it a couple times for the family, then jets off down the road. Luckily for us, the whole of Whispering Falls is only a whopping 80 square miles, so it doesn't take us long to get to the edge of town where the school is doing mock Jesus. I think I gotta put a comma here, maybe. Yeah. Where the school is doing mock Jesus. There we go, that sounds better. Just in case you're wondering, mock Jesus is really fast. Damien slides us into a parking space, and many of the other freaks of this place give golf claps. Golf claps? I mockingly exclaimed. That performance was worth a standing ovation. You should all be tossing roses at our feet. The grin that splits my face as everyone laughs at my corniest of corny jokes and is the exact reason why I still come to school. Damien slaps my leg as he walks past me. Get your dirty feet off the leather, man. My dad's gonna kill the both of them. I hop out of the car and follow my best friend into Campus de Laboring. And we start heading over to the computer science labs. The campus layout was simple. You had all your learning categories separated into neatly placed buildings, and each grade had its own room, including the jerks like myself, the AP kid. It was so sickeningly perfect that it looked like it was placed in space by magic. Spoiler alert, it was. Eyebrow wiggle. So over on the north end, closest to the mountains, you had the physical training / self-defense / power management building that housed training dojos, seminar classes, and a full-on obstacle course. Of course, because you didn't like running and slinging powers around and getting all sweaty for the rest of the day classes. Let's see, walking around with chafing along the legs. This guy does, oh, okay, hang on, I gotta go back. Let's see. So over the north end, closest to the mountains, you had the physical training / self-defense / power management building that housed training dojos, seminar classes, and a full-on obstacle course. Because who didn't like running and slinging powers around getting all sweaty for the rest of the day classes? Walking around with chafing along the legs? This guy does, that's for sure. This building took up the entire north end of the campus, so there will be no northeast and no northwest sections, just so we're clear. Over to the east side, you had Extra Credit Lane. This section was closest to the forest, mostly for those artsy types who like to paint happy little trees. So cute. Here they had all types of little rooms, and the studios for anything that didn't fall into a required education category of learning that was decided by a bunch of old people who like to control the decisions of young people. You guys know who you are. I forgot how I wrote this character. Next up, we have the west side of the campus, where you can find the computer science building, which, FYI, is where myself and Senior Damien were heading, just in case you forgot from above. Hello, Mr. Doomicorn. Welcome to my channel. I appreciate you for the follow. The English, Math, Science, and History buildings, respectively. Just outside of those buildings was the student parking, which is where I'm walking and monologuing right now. So exciting. Up next, see, I did that, is the south side of campus, and the real evil of Darkside High was the administrative building and all the evil people who staffed this place. They too had their own parking, although most of them rode in on brooms and left their ride at the broom rack just next to the main entrance. They were kind enough to open their parking to visitors, but good luck finding a parking spot anywhere around here. Last but not least, my favorite location of the entire campus, where I would spend all my time if they let me, the cafeteria. With its 3,600 square feet of excellence, it even comes with covered outdoor seating for those that want to sit in nature and eat their deliciousness. This place is the second greatest investment since the light bulb. I mean it. Justin, what are you doing? A small girl's voice calls up out of nowhere. Without showing any startling realization that I was zoning out during my monologue, I wasn't monologuing, that's for sure. You really are a strange one. Well, Tara, it takes one to know one. It's Terrace, but I think you may just be the king of strange. I expect you to bow before royalty when you speak to me in that tone. She finally breaks and grins ear to ear. You know, this is progress. I like to think that you've come a long way from when you first got here. All mopey and emo. Now look at you, all bright-eyed and chipper. She blushes slightly before it vanishes, but I noticed and make no comment. Well, if it wasn't for people like you and Lucas, I would probably still be that same girl. You both have been very inviting and definitely know how to make a girl laugh. Love, it's not just girls that I can make laugh, I can make the world laugh. Just ask these people right here, reading along. A look of confusion runs along her face for a brief second. I'm not going to even ask what people you're referring to because you're standing in a parking lot talking to me and your best friend ain't around to witness this. I look around quickly. All right, I should be heading off to class. I give her the quickest of hugs and dash off. See you at lunch, Tara. I'll tell Lucas you said hi. As I stroll into my AP Computer Science class, everyone is just getting settled in and waiting for the teacher to give the assignment out. As the sheet hits my desk, I notice the header, Introduction to Computer Science A. What a boring header, right? Just so you guys are aware, this character does break the fourth wall a lot. And by I mean a lot, it's like probably every chapter he makes a comment toward, well, every chapter he's in, he makes a comment towards the reader. So it's a trademark. I do it in all my books. I have a character that breaks fourth wall. The instructions state that we are to create a document using Word and talk about something we are passionate about. I quickly power on the computer and get logged in. And it is only moments before I have Word pulled up on my screen. My fingers swiftly flow across the keyboard. Psychokinesis, gifts, and how they are categorized. I always had a strange obsession with how the board members decided to categorize our gifts, so... In my introduction assignment, I will tell you a bit about the psychokinetic categories. Elemental psychokinetic gifts have the power to manipulate the elements. These gifts grant the user the capabilities to create, shape, and manipulate elements. The rudimentary, simplest, and essential parts and principles of which anything consists of. This can tell power over things which the universe consists and is made of, like atoms and molecules. The most prominent elements are the four classic elements of nature: earth or geokinesis, air or aerokinesis, fire or pyrokinesis, water or hydrokinesis, along with light and darkness or photoumbrakinesis, which can be separated into its individual parts. There are other psychokinetics under this branch, but that is only to name a few. Next, we have energy psychokinetics, kinetic gifts, which have the power to manipulate energy. These gifts grant the user the capabilities to create, shape, and manipulate energy, the capacity or ability to cause change or do work, one of the most basic quantitative properties of the system, such as an object or a field of energy. Energy can be transformed or converted into a number of forms that may each manifest and be measurable in differing ways. The law of conservation of energy states that the total energy of a system can increase and decrease only to be transferring it in or out of the system. Thus, the total energy of a system can be calculated by simple addition when it is composed of multiple non-interacting parts or has multiple distinct forms of energy. I'm just now realizing I spent this entire time here talking about the different categories. So I'm going to I was gonna skip it, but we're gonna go ahead and keep reading just so I can keep an eye out for any more things I need to fix. So next, needs a comma. Other. See, common physical forms of energy include kinetic energy of the moving object, radiant energy carried by light, and other electromagnetic radiation, and various types of potential energy such as gravitational or elastic. Excuse me. Earthreal psychokinetic gifts have the power to manipulate earthreal or otherworldly energies and forces from various planes of existence. These gifts grant the user the capabilities to create, shape, and manipulate earthreal or otherworldly energy from various planes of existence and utilize it in a manner that would give them a godlike status throughout existence. Mental psychokinetic gifts have the power to manipulate the minds and mental functions of oneself and or others. These gifts grant the user the capabilities of manipulating the mind, mechanisms of perceiving information, set of immaterial faculties that are linked to it. They can create, control, customize, negate, and otherwise fashion parts and functions of the mind as perception, desires, thoughts, beliefs, memories, attention, personality, behavior, and intelligence in a variety of ways. Beneficially, this ability can be used to unlock one's inner potential, bestow talents and skills, improve mental capacity. Destructively, this power may shatter minds, grant diversity of mental disorders, and take over others. Either way, users possess outstanding power that makes them a force to be reckoned with. Nature psychokinetic gifts have the power to manipulate the forces of nature. These gifts grant the user the capabilities to connect directly to the natural world and thus can communicate, influence, manipulate, and control nature. All living beings, plants, and natural phenomena such as weather and geology of the earth, and the matter and energy of which all these things are composed. They can survive in any natural environment on earth. The user can manipulate, tap into, blend, and or become elements of nature, including air, weather, lightning, earth, stone, metal, water, ice, light, darkness, cloud/mist, magma, fire, etc. They can control animals and plants and mimic their abilities and forms. Because the user can communicate with nature, they become instantly familiar with their surroundings. The connection is so deep that the earth can respond to one's emotions and desires. For example, blossoming with flowers and calming weather when happy making skies stormy and cause earthquakes when angry, shifting the landscape to gain an advantage in a fight, etc. The user can purify, heal, and generally influence the health of nature, and considering the fact that they're helping the environment, plants, and animals act favorably towards the user. They have access to every living species of animal on Earth and can also draw the strength from them and acquire their abilities. Nature obeys the user's every command and operates on a hive mind, meaning users can control an entire army of animals. Physical psychokinetic gifts have the power to manipulate the body and inanimate objects. These gifts grant the user the capabilities to have complete control over the body's anatomies of oneself, anatomies. My brain just shut off there for a second. Anatomies of oneself and others, including skin, nails, fat, muscles, blood, nerves, etc., allowing them to freely alter and manipulate them. The user can create and grow additional appendages and body parts, removing them, or otherwise manipulating bodies in visible, chemical, and subcellular levels. This can also allow the user to telekinetically move another human through their bodies. The user might also be able to manipulate the bodies of other species, such as animal or even extraterrestrial creatures. More advanced users might even be able to interact or exert control over bodies and metaphysical beings, such as ghosts or spirits, or even the likes of deities. Users can also create, shape, and manipulate any sort of inanimate objects, products, and finished goods. For example, physical objects that have been manufactured from either natural or artificial materials, including anything nanotechnological, to tools, weapons, vehicles, and up to architecture. Physics, psychokinetic gifts. Yes, exactly like that. Have the power to manipulate the laws of physics. These gifts grant the user the capabilities to create, shape, and manipulate the laws of physics, everything dealing with matter and its motion and behavior through space and time, along with related concepts such as energy and force, including momentum, friction, vectors, inertia, etc. they could, for example, change the direction a ball moves and how fast it travels. The user can focus on three major fields of physics: relativity, focusing on the macro, largest things universe; classical physics, focusing on the moderately sized, mostly closely related to day-to-day life; or quantum physics, focusing on the micro, smallest things universe. Season psychokinetic gifts have the power to manipulate seasons and the concept they represent. These gifts grant the user the capabilities to manipulate the seasons as well as draw from the concepts each season is connected. Technological psychokinetic gifts have the power to manipulate technology. These gifts grant the user the capabilities to manipulate technology, the sum of techniques, skills, methods, and process used in the production of goods or services, or in the accomplishments of objectives. However, most users only can exert control over technological constructs such as computers, robots, hardware, and other devices that can be termed as technological in any way. Manifested as a special form of electrical telekinetic manipulation, a special form of morphine which allows physical interaction with machines, or even psychic ability that allows mental interface with computer data. Most users can control the flow of interacting or intricate machinery and assemble or disengage their programming at will and operate most technology at a distance, that's why. Okay. A variation of electricity manipulation, they control specific electrons and instruct them which items to engage or disengage. Okay, something about this sentence. I'm gonna have to come back to the sentence. Or disengage, and may be able to use the electric impulses to gently control smaller metal parts. Okay, a variation of electricity manipulation. They control specific electrons and instruct them to which, okay, that's what's missing. To which items to engage or disengage, and may be able to use the electric impulses to gently control smaller metal parts. Ugh. Yeah, there's a lot of technical hoopla in here. But I get it out of the way in this first part, just so that way the rest of the time, anytime I bring it up, I don't have to explain it again. Because I'm weird like that. I give you a whole chapter you can skip. You're welcome. Universal psychokinetics gifts have the power to manipulate everything within the entire universe. These gifts grant the user the capabilities to manipulate the entire universe, everything that consists of stars, planetary system, galaxies, dark matter, relativity, matter, etc. Finally, wave psychokinetic gifts have the power to manipulate waves of different kinds. These gifts grant the user the capabilities to control waves, including tidal waves, sound waves, brain waves, electronic, radio waves, etc., controlling sonar waves to enhance or even mute them or cause others to fall asleep by manipulating their brain waves. They can intercept and interpret messages in radio waves and cause massive tidal waves washing away anything in its path. This has been my introduction assignment. Okay. I went through that pretty quick. You know what? We'll keep going. We'll do chapter 2, but I need to take a quick bathroom break. So give me a couple of minutes to run to the bathroom real quick, and then we'll continue on with chapter 2. Alright, I'm back. Ah. So, in chapter 2, we switched perspectives from Justin to our other main character. And this is going to, from my notes, it's going to go switches the perspective year. And this time we listen in on a lecture that Adamson is giving on his family lineage to a bunch of first years. This breaks into a little more on the lore of the avatars versus humans. Okay, so this is probably a third person perspective of the avatars of the seven deadly sins, which is the sin family. So yeah, so chapter 3 will switch into the second main character's perspective. So, good morning, class. Please hurry to your seats and take out your notebooks and a writing implement. Pen, pencil, chalk, whatever it is you fancy to write with. The teacher turns to write his name on the board. Professor Adamson. As you can see, my name is Professor Adamson. I do look a little young to be a professor, and I will explain that in just a bit. I would like to start off by saying please hold every and all questions until the end of the lecture, and we will address any questions you may still have after. Adam takes a steady breath in. Most of the time when I do these first classes, I always get drawn out by 100 or so questions that are very common. I have done these enough times now to know how to do my entire lecture and answer most of the common of the questions, so just bear with me, please. Adam turns and writes again on the chalkboard. He continues speaking into the chalkboard as he writes. As you will notice, I do things a bit differently than many of your other teachers will. I still use old ways in my teaching because it keeps you, the students, more focused on what I have to say and disables distraction. The history of the Sin family and the role they play in Whispering Falls. What I am teaching you today is an introductory lesson I started doing 400 years or so ago. He sets the chalk down and cleans his hands, turning around to face his class. Every eye was on him now, as he knew it would be. Opening like that always proves to get their attention the quickest. He smiles as he meets every set of eyes. Oh, yes, too. Have a good night. I hope you sleep well, bud. Thank you for hanging out with me. In my many years of teaching at the school, I've learned that my students always have questions about my family and what we are. So, the comma here. So I started a lesson plan to teach my freshman class first thing in the morning every year as their first class. Therefore, comma, every first year student in this school has had history for their first period. This ensures you all learn the history of the school, Whispering Falls, and the board members all early on. For most of you, this place is new to you. The things that you're being brought to your attention are unbelievable and fantastical. These things happening to your body are things you would read in supernatural thrillers, comic books, or see on TV shows. This class also helps you understand how it all began, and perhaps you prepares. Oh, I messed that up pretty badly. This class also helps you understand how it all began and prepares you for the road ahead. Oh, the road ahead is filled with excitement and wonders not open to the rest of the world. We are hidden from the world for no reason, or for a reason. For this, there are a couple of ways in and out of town. One of the most common ways is by a person with the teleport ability. The other is by the Whispering Falls Transportation Office, or the WFTO for short. They are a one-way trip through, and you will have to find a teleporter to get you back. This method is not to keep you locked in here, but to keep you safe from people out there that would intentionally harm you for being what you are. Your gifts make you different, and people fear what they do not understand. There are people out there that would do things to you that are morally and ethically wrong, just to further their own agendas. This is the reason we are so secluded and hard to reach. Whispering Falls is actually located inside Mount Evans, west of Denver. In the spring of the 1700s, a couple of explorers were out hiking and got lost. They stumbled on a cave, and there they stayed, awaiting help. While exploring the cave, they discovered a well, and inside this well was a strange light. This light was actually an alien that entered the two explorers and gave them incredible abilities. The two explorers felt like gods and explored the gifts that they were given. They had the ability to manipulate the world around them as they saw fit. They soon realized that one explorer countered the other. They were essentially yin and yang to each other. While one explorer sought to use these gifts to rule the world, the other explorer wanted to keep this to themselves. This was the first divide. The explorer who wanted to rule left the cave and took his gifts with him. The other stayed and expanded their cave as deep and as spread out as they could make it. Eventually, that person made so large a small town could be fit. Made it so large, okay. I know where I messed up there. Made it so large a small town could be built from it. This explorer planted and grew trees, made lakes and small cliff faces. Eventually, they made the waterfall at the edge of town. Because the waterfall is inside the mountain as well as being artificial, it made whispering noises as it trickled down the cliff face. Brandon Falls then started calling this place Whispering Falls. He loved this place and wanted to share it with others. He created an ecosystem inside the mountain that mimicked the world outside. After being alone for 2 years, Brandon sought out others who would live in the town he created, not by force, but by choice. It was then he was reunited with his long-lost friend. and the other explorer, Jariah Miles, failed in finding what made him happy. He searched far and wide, traveled the world in a short amount of time, but nothing would sate him. When he saw Brandon again, the two returned to the cave, now a town, and Brandon showed him all the wonders he created. They agreed to run the city together and both left to spread the news. When they both returned a season later, they both brought back many families who agreed to settle the town and that would never see bandits or strife. For decades, they all lived peacefully until Jariah learned he could share his gifts with others. He first shared his gifts with his wife, Tamara. Then he shared his gifts with Brandon's wife, Lisa. Then he shared his gifts with everyone else in the town. He was so excited that they could all do what Brandon and he had been doing for years. They shared knowledge of how to manipulate the world around them. They taught day and night till everyone had the greatest understanding of all they were capable of. Right around the year 1756, Jariah and Brandon were feeling the effects of time. It was near the end when Brandon learned he could manipulate time. He reversed the aging process on Jariah and himself, then reversed the aging process of everyone else in the town. In 1762, one of the members they brought in disappeared. There was no trace. No one had seen him leave the cave. Jariah and Tamara also gave birth to a baby boy, who they named Adam. This boy was the first to be born inside Whispering Falls. They celebrated, completely forgetting about their stray member. In 1763, that missing member returned. He brought an army with them. They pointed weapons at Brandon and Jariah, demanding that they use their gifts to take over the world and rule like gods. Both men quickly declined, and blood rained down from the skies. Many died that day, and only 13 of the original 256 people who lived here in those times survived. My family in the Falls were 5 of them. These 13 became the founding members of what we call the board members today. Brandon and Lisa Falls, Jariah and Tamara Miles, Eden Lane, Rudy Hampton, Gladys McConnell, Terry Dreyer, Catherine Nicholas, Rufio Birch, Daphne Zamora, and young Adam Miles, who only got appointed to member status when he turned 13 years of age, which at the time was the age of an adult. It was during this time the founding members decided that any new people they brought to Whispering Falls would be taught slowly how to use their gifts. Thus, the school was created. Oh, getting harsh on my voice. Let's see, where was I? This was created. New townsfolk were recruited before the foundation of the United States in September of 1776. The town filled up with over 2,500 townsfolk. Many lived normal lives without excuse me, sorry. Many lived normal lives without ever knowing that 13 people around them had supernatural abilities, because Of Brandon's gifts, the 13 never aged for 9 years. By 1802, roughly 100 years after the town was created, only 100 people were given gifts. After the second divide, trustworthy souls who each member felt would carry this burden with honor and dignity. Okay. By 1802, roughly 100 years after the town was created, only 100 people were given gifts after the second divide. Trustworthy souls who each member felt would carry this burden with honor and dignity. It was during this time that a caste system was created for every new person with gifts. Elemental psychokinesis was led by Brandon and Lisa Falls. Earthreal psychokinetics was led by Jiraiya and Tamara Miles. Energy psychokinetics was led by Edon Langan. Physical psychokinetics was led by Rudy Hampton. Nature psychokinetics was led by Gladys McConnell. Physics psychokinetics was led by Terry Dyer. Mental psychokinetics was led by Catherine Nicholas. Seasoned psychokinetics was led by Rufio Birch. Wave psychokinetics was led by Daphne Zamora, and universal psychokinetics was led by Adam Mott. Much later, during the rise of technology, and once we saw more and more young people with abilities to manipulate the tech around them, Lisa and Tamara were put in charge of technology psychokinetics. Adam reset everyone's gifts and gave these people only gifts related to their caste. Adam was then reset to the age when this all began, and everyone else was reset to the age of mid-20s. This was the first reincarnation, and the town believed that the original founding members moved away. Jiraiya and Tamara got to raise little Adam all over again, and everyone lived in happiness. As the other founders started having children of their own, they were taught and instructed by them. They mingled with the other townsfolk. Soon, a whole lot of children started displaying gifts. The board members met for the first time in 1897. They discussed how they would go about maintaining population control, and they thought that during the students' senior year, if they graduated, they would be given a choice to leave Whispering Falls and live outside the safety of the city. They would all be equipped with knowledge of the world abroad, giving tools and talents for them to survive anywhere, and evaluated on risk. Once decided, they opened the school up to all ages. Throughout the 1900s, many students have come and gone through these walls. The second reset was performed on June 10th, 1901. Every 100 years, a new reset would happen. The last reset was 2001, right after the scare of Y2K died down. It was during the end of the 1900s when we decided to stop calling the groups casts and changed it to houses. You all know your patrons and those that recruited you to be here. So if you were rescued from the outside world and brought here, all of you though will be taught the same things we've taught for almost 300 years. Now, I know I've said I've been doing this for 400 years. I have in fact not been alive that long. While it is true I have obtained my 5th PhD, I was born in 1762 and have not been alive for over 400 years. Adam gives a little smirk before taking a sip from his glass of water. I will take a sip as well. Before I open the floor, I will tell you about my family. We will then go over the other 8 families during the following 8 weeks. You will be quizzed about each family every Thursday. This Thursday, you'll be quizzed about the Sin family. He turns and writes on the board again. Jiraiya and Tamara Miles. Jiraiya and Tamara Miles were the first of the family. The first of the family. They gave birth to me, and I am the first and only son of the Miles name. In 1932, my mother and father gave birth to a baby girl. I was thrilled to have a sister even in my 30s. However, at the time, my mother was a quintet kinetic. Words are hard, people. I may be able to write them and know them, but they're hard to pronounce sometimes. Latin is confusing language, just so you know. Which is someone who has the power to manipulate life force. Among her gifts, she was able to see a shattering of the future. In this vision, she saw angels fall from heaven and leave depths of hell and walk amongst the humans. Not able to interpret this clearly, she took it to my father, who also had a dream of a similar scenario. In his dream, he is called to pay for his sins, his original attempt to leave and rule the world. God clearly did not like what my father did back then and has held it over his head since. My mother, on the other hand, had other plans. She pleaded with the gods above, and they granted her reprieve, but only under one condition. We must bear the name of sin, and every child will be an avatar for an angel and demon of the order. She quickly agreed to save her husband and their fate. Okay. To save them. I got to put you here. Okay. Thus we became the Sin family. Little did my mother know that she didn't realize how many children the gods planned for her. Because I am the firstborn, I was to be the aspect of pride and humility, the avatar of Lucifer and Raphael. My baby sister at the time, Amanda, was to be thus the aspect of lust and chastity, the avatar of Asmodeus and Uriel. A year later, my mother gave birth to a boy, Stephen, who was to be the aspect of wrath and patience, the avatar of Saint and Azrael. A few years go by, and my mother gives birth to 4 more children, all back to back. Samantha and Justin were twins, and Lisa was born a year later. My youngest brother, Lucien, was the last to be born. Samantha is the aspect of envy and gratitude, the avatar of Leviathan and Ramiel. Justin is the aspect of gluttony, temperance, the avatar of Beelzebub and Castiel. Lisa is the aspect of sloth and diligence, the avatar of Belphegor and Gabriel. Lucien is the aspect of greed and charity, the avatar of Mammon and Michael. What does this all mean? What roles do we all play in the grand scheme of things? Because of the deal my parents made with the gods above, the two sides cannot go to war with one another. This prevents an apocalypse from happening. This is the sacrifice my parents made to prevent my father from being subjected to his sins. Now our last reset has come to pass, and this time around, there are no twins. Each one of us was born 12 years apart, from first to last. I am still the eldest, Lucian. Adam points to the youngest proud-haired student hiding in the back corner of the class. Lucian's face turns red. Is the youngest and attending his first year in the school in second time. Is the youngest attending his first year in the school a second time. Everyone's eyes widen as they all turn to look at Lucian, and they clamor. That's supposed to be clamor, people. Why are you not on the ball? Come on, put yourself there. There we go. Okay, clamor breaks out. A thickness falls over the class, and everyone's words drown out a heaviness that fills the room. Lucian, no, Adam says softly. Lucian's eyes return to normal color as he slumps back in his chair. I thank you for bringing my class to order, but you know better. Class, understand that even though we are avatars, we're just like you. We have true emotions and feelings, hopes and dreams, just like the other families. Lucian and I are also the only universal psychokinetics in existence. While the rest of you share patrons with one another, my brother and I are all alone. You will meet Lisa and Justin on campus. Please show them kindness and courtesy as you would show me. Over the next couple of days, I will teach you about our family in more detail, and you will be quizzed at the end of the period's first week, or period one's week. So please take lots of notes. I will leave today's lesson on the board for you to copy down into your notebook. If you have any questions, now is the time. Yeah. Let's see, what are we at? We're at 214. It's 816. So here we are. We have now introduced the powers and how they work. We've introduced the family, or one of the families, that is a major and pivotal role to the universe itself in just the first two chapters. On the bright side, there is a total of 19 chapters, including the prologue and epilogue. So chapter 1 through 17, the prologue and epilogue. I believe that is the most of all the explanation. The rest are kind of sparse throughout the story as it goes on. It being 8:17, I need to take my meds, and then I can progress. We can continue on. It's not taking me long to get through these chapters, reading them out loud. I think the only reason it took me so long to read the prologue was because I was enjoying the conversation we were all having together. So I'll take my meds real quick, and then we'll push on to chapter 3. I'll read that. Oh, I just realized. Did I eat dinner? I don't remember, but that's okay. I will eat something after I cut Stream into pieces. This will be my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing. I hope everybody is enjoying their evening of relaxation and hanging out together. Hang on a second. I did see that right. Oh, yeah. So, real quick, I want to give a big shout out to this chiropractor whose name is lurking in my stream.
No, wait, we need to
It's
sing happy
silently lurking.
birthday.
Oh
If
yeah.
you don't know Miss Chiropractor,
Okay. You guys ready?
please go check her out. She's
Yeah, let's
amazing.
go.
Alright.
She crafts
Happy
things.
birthday to
I believe it's called crocheting. She makes cool little cow cupcakes. They're amazing. They're adorable. And you can get yourself one if you go and hang out in streams long enough. She is a gem, so please go check her out.
Mr. President.
I think we are gonna take out this git. 'Cause now that I'm saying it in my head, hear it sound different. I finally settle into my seat near the back of the class where I know that I'll draw with the least amount of attention. Yeah, that sounds. I finally get settled. Yeah, no, we're gonna go with this one. I finally settle into my seat because it is first person and it is in the moment. So it does sound a little bit better this way. Oh. Okay. I need to stretch. Ready? We're gonna stretch. Everybody, reach up to the sky. Go ahead, right now. Deep breath in. Let it out. There we go. Good old stretch. All right. Hydrate. Yeah, it is coconut water. Probably should have had water at my desk, but I like my caffeine. Especially because it reminds me to recycle. All right. I finally settle into my seat at the back of the class. So we've already switched. So we started off with a third-person perspective on terrorists. And then chapter 1 was a first-person perspective from Justin Sims, which would be the avatar of gluttony and temperance. Chapter 2 is a third-person perspective, sitting in on a class of Adamson. And now we're getting ready to jump into the first-person perspective of Lucas Dusk, which is our second main character of the storyline. I say that like that because it's our second first-person perspective that is in this book. So I know that I'll draw the least amount of attention. Miss Sin, co-head of Technology's Psychokinetic House, is the teacher for the AP computer science classes. Here, and if I've learned anything from being anywhere near that family, they are all sticklers for success and achievements. I see Daryl Cross, a 6'5" tall black guy from somewhere in Arkansas, step into the computer lab and begin scanning the room. As his eyes settle on me, he lurches forward to head in my direction. This guy is massive. Think professional football player from the NFL, and you'll get a good understanding of how big this guy is. He once told me that he didn't even work out. Crazy, right? Lucas, my man, can you believe it? We're not only juniors, but we are in an AP, we're not only juniors, but we are in AP classes all year long. His deep, rich country boy accent blends with the hum of the computer screen. No, Daryl, I'm pretty sure you're the only one surprised by this notion, I say with a broad smile as he pushes out a seat for my overly. I say with a broad smile as I push out a seat for my overly large friend. Is that supposed to be funny because I'm black or because I'm from Arkansas? He says as he takes the proffered seat. Both, Daryl. Now sit your butt down and let's rock this year. I can't help but chuckle through my words. While Daryl is getting settled into his seat and powering on his desktop, I overhear a couple of feminine giggles as the front door opens and reveals one of the biggest celebrities of our school, Justin Damian Sin, fifth son of the founding family and one of the 7 avatars of Whispering Falls. Justin is the aspect of gluttony and temperance. However, he looks nothing like what you would think when you hear of gluttony. He stands slightly under 6 feet tall, well-muscled, and has a manly jawline. His jaw-length black hair and piercing green eyes get all the ladies swooning after him. The senior looks like a giant douche canoe walking, but is actually one of the nicest people you ever meet. He can also out-eat a small village. Oh, hey, Lucy boy. Your girlfriend Tara ran into her outside. She caught me while I was monologuing to the readers. Anywho, she says, and I quote, his voice changes octave to match Terrace's pitch and tone. Hi, Lucas. It was so cute. Anyway, is this seat taken? Without waiting for a reply, he plops down in the seat next to mine. Scratch that. He is kind of a douche. First off, her name is Terrace. And second, when did she become my girlfriend? Aw, cute, you're defending her. Since you two have been playing googly eyes since she got here, I honestly don't know what's worse, the fact that you two haven't hooked up or the fact that you constantly deny that you like her. He leans back in his seat. Oh, hey, Daryl. Sorry, didn't see you here. It's kind of dark in here. Hey, Justin. Didn't know they let brainless avatars in these classes. Or have I worn some glow sticks so you could see better? I don't know what joke I was trying to make there. I'm gonna have to reread that. Didn't know they let brainless avatars in classes, or I would have worn some glow sticks so you could see better, Daryl retorts back. We have not been playing googly eye for the last 2 years, man. Grow up, I say. Grow up, really? Even Dimebag Daryl over here has better one-liners than you, and he's from Arkansas. Look here, pretty boy. You're not getting any younger, and before you know it, your senior year is gonna fly by. Trust me. I've already read the end of this book. If you don't start taking her out on dates, she's gonna go back to that little craptastic town she came from and be miserable without someone who actually gives a damn about her. After he takes a quick inhale, he blows me a kiss and looks down at the sheet in front of him. He visibly sinks into his chair. I look down at my assignment on the desk and I completely understand what he is feeling. Talk about something we're passionate about? I sigh. Daryl, please don't talk about your hentai collection. I'm pretty sure Miss Zamora would disapprove of hearing that her only son is borrowing from said collection. When have I ever borrowed a movie from you? Hey, Wonder Twins, zip it. My mom knows you both enjoy cartoon boobies. So no one needs to hear about it right this minute. Just talk about your butterfly collection. That'll be appropriate for today's assignment. He says as his as his fingers never stopped their rapid-fire staccato across the keyboard. Okay, Machine Gun Kelly, you keep pounding that keyboard like your dream girl. Like it's your dream girl, and we'll worry about what we're typing, Carol says as he starts typing a header. Planetary alignment and theories, really? Yeah, I really like planets. Did you know what thousands of years ago people used to worship the planets like they were gods? No, Daryl, I didn't know that. Well then. You should talk about yourself. Is that supposed to be an ego joke? No, it just seems to be the only thing you focus on the most in your past is your past and the lack thereof. Daryl had a good point. My past is very strange. I began to type about the mystery behind who I am and how I got here. It was a cold morning in December of 2015. The snow was thick around the trees and it blanketed the entire school. It was winter break and many of the other students were at home or in their dorm rooms. Dorm rooms, sipping hot chocolate and talking about their plans for the future like all high school kids do. The evening was peaceful and dusk was setting. It was just as the zenith of the night when a whip crack sound echoed across the artificial sky. Fire everywhere poured out all across the woods and without a second thought vanished just as quickly as it came. A small boy was sitting in a puddle of melted snow in a clearing of charred trees. The dead grass that encircled him was ash underneath his bare feet. A dark-skinned woman came running out to see what all the commotion was all about and to find out what caused that loud noise. As the dorm mistress, it was her job to make sure all the students in her charge were well cared for. As she came to the clearing where water droplets fell to the ground from the artificial skyline, she saw a small boy sitting by himself. Tears filled the young boy's eyes. "Hello, boy," the dark-skinned woman called out to the boy. All the boy did was continue to cry. "Boy, why are you crying?" Her rich sing-song tone and emotions that filled her voice poured into the boy and he stopped crying. "That's a good lad." She slowly reached out to him. She could feel the heart beat radiating off the child and know exactly what he was capable of if he was not soothed before he could burst out again. She witnessed it firsthand many times before. This was a school of gifted people, after all. "Boy, my name is Daphne Zamora. I am the school mum here. I teach music. Can you tell me, boy, what is your name?" Her long brown curls fell past her shoulders, and her hazelnut-colored eyes pleaded with the boy to be okay. The boy's sobs stopped, his pale cheek dry and stained with soot from the ash floating around him. He sniffled once and brushed back the scruff of brown hair that fell over his brows, revealing an orange glow of his eyes. His lip quivered slightly, but sadness and confusion were all that Daphne could see now. "Would you like some hot chocolate, boy?" she said as she forced herself closer. She had conjured a shield of sound around her body to help with the heat. But even at this young age, the heat coming off this boy was immense. The boy nodded and wiped at his face. "You still haven't told me your name." The boy sniffled again. His voice was a soft whisper, innocent and lost. I don't remember my name. Daphne took in a sharp inhale of breath, though her slow approach never wavered. Well, sadly around these parts, boy, that is not unusual, she said softly. I need you to do me a favor, though, okay? I need you to breathe, boy. Your emotions are currently filling your fire. You are far too hot for me to help you in your current state. The boy took a deep breath. Daphne could feel the heat leave his body, and the moisture around them started to solidify. She quickly took her jacket off and approached the young child, wrapping him up. She hoisted him up to her chest. There we go. All safe now, boy. She smiled, dimples formed at the corners of her lips, and her smooth skin was unblemished. The boy reciprocated the smile, and Daphne carried him off towards the dorms where she could get him some warmer clothes and food for his belly. Don't worry, young one. We'll get you all sorted out and you'll be safe, yeah. Nothing bad will happen to you. Nothing bad will happen to you. Miss Daphne, the small boy started. Just Miss. I never married. Miss Daphne, I think my name is Lucas. Lucas, that's a good, strong name. It is? Yes. You remember your last? He shook his head. How about Dusk? She smiled down at him. Lucas Dusk. He beamed up at her. It does have a nice ring to it, don't it? The school bell rang out, pulling me from that memory. The class was filing out one by one. Filing out one by one. Out the door, outside the door, filing out, filing one by one out the door. Got too many outs there. Filing one by one out the door. Okay. Everyone would be heading to self-defense, which is one of the few classes every student had this hour. I shut the computer down and picked up my stuff. Daryl just watched me. But dude, it's creepy when you stare at me like that. Oh man, you just zoned out the entire class. You didn't even notice this scene caused by Justin leaving the room. I'm used to that by now. Ever since we were kids and Miss Zamora would take me over to hang out with Lucian and Lisa, he always commanded attention. He isn't about that though. I'm not saying I might take that back. I'm not saying he was then either. It has to be something that is involved with the pact they made with the gods. I remember history class, man. You don't have to remind me. Yeah, but I lived it. True. Well, let's get going. We got to get over and whoop some butt today. We stepped into self-defense building for the expert training class where we would be taught the same stuff the seniors get taught. Next year, if we passed, we would be taught master level self-defense training, which would mean we didn't have to stay an extra year after the graduation for expert level training. Damian James came strolling up to Daryl and me while we were stretching. He was already in his workout gear and ready to go. His blue eyes lit up when he saw us. He shifted his brown hair back out of his face and held up an easy smile. Hey guys, glad to see you guys. Let me take this one out. Glad to see you. How was your summer break? It was good, Damien. Daryl was the first to extend his hand for a fist bump, which Damien gladly returned. It was alright, you know how it goes in the dorms during the long breaks, I said, also holding my hand out for a fist bump. Yeah, I guess you're right. You know, you two are always more than welcome to stay with me at my house. I don't actually know why my dad bought me such a large house when it was just going to be me living in it for 4 years. Must be nice to be rolling in the money. I mean, that literally, Daryl said, a playfulness to his tone. Oh yeah, because I Scrooge McDuck that pool of coins every night before I lay my head down on a pillow of $100 bills. The three of us laugh. So, Lucas, how is Terrace doing? He says with a mischievous smirk. Why is it you guys assume she and I have a thing? I say a little more annoyed than I meant. Luke, seriously, dude, you're into her. As your best friend, I know these things. Daryl throws his hands up defensively. You just need to start admitting it to yourself. I sigh. Look, maybe I like her, but I don't think the feelings are mutual. Damien laughs obnoxiously, full of intentional sarcasm. Dude, seriously? You have not looked in the mirror? Or, seriously, have you not looked in the mirror? Daryl and I look sidelong at him. That's something you want to share? We both say at the same time. Not like the bunch of you chodes. Not like that, you bunch of chodes. You guys wouldn't be my type even if I was gay. Seriously, Lucas, you're not a bad-looking dude. And every girl in your class watches you when you're not looking. You know, I bet it's that mysterious past you dream, or those dreamy orange eyes, Daryl says excitedly. All right. Looks aren't everything, guys. Terrace isn't just after a guy who has a good-looking smile. She wants someone that is going to be there for her when she needs him the most. Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you two spend every waking moment with each other? Daryl asks. I thought he spent every waking moment with you, Damien asked. No, I'm talking about the moments when he's not with me. Enough, guys. I get it. Y'all want me to date Terrace. I just don't get why. Because we want you to see you two happy? They both say in unison. Ain't no one going to be happy with a nobody like you, Lucas. A fourth voice chimes in from behind me. And let's see where we at. I believe this is a good point to peter out for the night. Chapter 4 of... I got 8 to go. Or, I'm sorry, I've got 5 to go. So I'll read 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Thursday, 6 p.m. I think we're on Pacific Standard Time currently. If not, just check my schedule. I'll put it up here in a little bit. But yeah, we'll pick this back up then. I'm actually kind of enjoying doing this. It's nice to be able to refresh my brain this way. And honestly, I think you guys are enjoying it too. I'm not sure. I will get some feedback later. And again, feel free to join the Discord. There you can let me know your thoughts. We do have other channels available where you guys will be able to see posts and stuff like that. I don't have a schedule posted there yet, but I will work on getting something together for that now that I'm getting more and more people into my Discord. Tomorrow night is Wednesday. I will be playing Outriders. We will be working on the forest area, I believe, and getting further into the storyline. Or at least attempting to. I've been getting my ass handed to me lately in there. The sort scenes. So yeah, come back, hang out. We'll pick this back up Thursday. Like I said, I think I'm gonna do this more often. I really do enjoy doing these streams. I don't know why I procrastinate doing these streams, because I do enjoy doing them. So, but yeah, we'll get together again. I hope you all have a wonderful night. I thank everybody for coming in and hanging out with me. I do appreciate every single one of you and my push to affiliate and helping me out. Y'all have been amazing. Y'all have a beautiful night.